There are three main types of funding for a nonprofit organization: loans, grants, and monthly donations. Now, these three differ very much. The first of them, loans, are usually something you can get from the bank. Now, most of the time, most nonprofit organizations also file as small businesses. So you can get a small business loan, or there are many other loans that you can get that usually have fixed rates or very good interest rates because a lot of times nonprofit organizations you get very good rates for their loans and things like that because they're usually very good at paying their loans back because nonprofit organizations, although they don't make any profit from the services they do get a lot of funding most of the time, because they're usually backed by a very good cause and people love to sow into a good cause. So it's very common for a nonprofit organization to a lot of times be able to pay back their loans and things like that that they receive from the bank, which gives them good credibility and allows them to get more loans. So the next way would be grants. So a grant is basically a government funded way to give nonprofits or other organizations money. So pretty much how it is there's different grants by the government or by different corporations or entities that give out a certain amount or an award really of money for a certain cause. So let's say, like I said previously before, I'm a part of a nonprofit organization called Define with Purpose. And I'm actually their grant writer. I help them write their grants and things like that. So what happens is there are different types of grants that we apply for. Like most of them that we apply for have to do with sexual abuse to men or women or children. So if then any grant comes out, and there's a website called grants.gov, and it's all the government grants. So basically, if any grant comes out that's for those group of people, we automatically can apply for it and do apply for it. And then it's up to them at that point if we get it or not and how those things work. But that's usually how grants work. And they're a bit difficult sometimes because it doesn't the money you get isn't reoccurring. It's one time most of the time. And it takes a little bit because the grant has to be awarded and the application has to go through and then it takes time to get your money. So that's not a very surefire or fast way to get your money. Loan, on the other hand, is very quick. You'd be able to get it very quickly, but just like the loan and the grant, they're not reoccurring and they're one time, and you must go back and get more and more and more. But what is reoccurring most of the time is donations, or even better, monthly donations. So this is where nonprofits thrive and try to get most of their funding. Now, this is because nonprofit doesn't make profit like we said on their services. So they must go to people asking for donations. And usually we like to set that up in the form of monthly donations. So people, we give them to give a set amount every month and we ask them if they can continue giving that amount over a long period of time. Usually, 6 months to a year, maybe 3 months sometimes. We just ask that they continue to donate. And then there's different, benefits to this. For our organization, we allow them to be a part of our they have their name on the board, and we also give out plaques, and we also mention them at any event as big donors, and we make sure that people know that heavily they're heavily sewing into this ministry. But yeah, that's how the three different ways that nonprofit organizations get their funding.